I just picked up this Mechanic Special 2012 Mini Countryman S all 4 with the N18 engine. Couldn't get it to start, but I was told the diag was low compression and it quoted an engine. So we're going to see what we can do. Hook up the scan tool. Do the full system scan. The screen's pretty reflective. Alright. We have faults in the engine and the radio. So just basically the engine. Alright. You can see we have 2 present faults for the camshafts there, with some misfires on all cylinders. That's probably because there's unplugged ventilation line. We got a Vanos stuck. Couple times, stored frequently. One time for that. One time for that. 5 times for that one. That's a charge air temp sensor. I was told this had low compression, and cylinder 3 was way down. 4. So misfires are pretty even according to these fault data. I'm just gonna pause this for a minute and take a picture of all these faults just so I have it saved. Alright, we cleared all the faults that are in it, and we're just checking the fault readouts for anything that looks out of the ordinary. Doesn't show me that much data. Temps look about correct there. Got fuel pressure. Let's see if it'll fire up like this. It did. Alright, we have fuel pressure. Shut that back off. Let's see if anything came back there. Oh, just an oxygen sensor fault, which I did unplug. And I can't see the Vanos positions on this one with my scanner. So we'll check this misfire out. Alright, looking okay. Oh, there goes the engine light. Got some misfires popping up. Not horrible. Shut it back off. Let's go back to read the codes. There we go. We got a this one. If you can see, charge pressure control. That's gonna be a default that gets thrown because of this variable camshaft one. So did throw an intake Vanos. Alright, wonder if there's an issue with the solenoid. So from here I'm going to double check because I was told the compression was low. So we're going to confirm the fluid levels, do the compression test. We're going to do a leak down test too, and then borescope that cylinder before probably do anything else. Alright, we got our compression tester in there. I always try to face it so I can see it. I had to swap hoses here. I had the wrong one because I was using my leak down one, which had the adapter for the smaller 12 mil plugs. Okay, we had almost 150 there on that cylinder number one. I'm just doing a quick test. I just cranked it till the needle stopped moving up higher. Alright, number two. Okay, number two, pretty much the same there, just a hair under 150. number 3, which was supposed to have very low compression, was pretty much exactly the same as the other 2. Number 4, where about 145 or so. So there goes to show you, don't trust anyone's diagnosis, because I don't see anything wrong with the compression here. It looks like we just have some solenoid issues, or maybe a timing issue. It's going right into limp mode, but the misfires weren't bad when I showed them. Now I was told it came in low on oil, and then maybe they didn't recheck it after adding oil. But I'm not concerned with that compression at all. So we're gonna probably put that back in, put the coils back in, probably check the oil filter and see if I can't put an oil pressure gauge on here before we're pulling the cam solenoids. I have a look at those. Just gonna do a quick look in the bore scope here. I don't need to see anything in there. A little wet in that one, but it's been misfiring for a while, and I did spend a while trying to get it to start earlier, which it wouldn't. Don't see anything jumping out at me here. I don't have the 90-degree camera on this scope, so I can't see the valves or anything. And I'm too scared to use the little mirrors that they have. But yeah, gonna put the plugs back in now. You just have the bolts all the way around right here, the 10 mils. There's an 8 mil on this, which is this harness is connected to, and just pop that off, and then one in here, one in there. Just gotta get it to pop free. Make sure that's off all the way. Nothing horrible looking right there. Nothing looks broken. There's possibly the tip of that chain guide right there. Alright, I'm going to get to the crank bolt so I can turn this to top dead center and then compare the lobes here. Alright, so we finished our diagnosis here. We have just that little bit of chain guide tip right there that was broken. To check the timing, you need all pistons level. I don't have a timing tool for this right now, so I just use my extension, turn the engine and a little bit by a little bit till all four have pretty much the same height. And then if you see, the part number on this cam should be straight up on both cams, and that one's off. Whereas if you look right there, you see the flat spot on the top of that intake. So the tools are supposed to slide on and sit on that flat spot and in the groove on each side. Whereas this side is facing about the 10 o'clock position. So the exhaust jumped. So it looks like we need a timing chain kit and a valve cover, and I might do a Vanos solenoid as well for the not controllable fault. So it does look like it did run low on oil, which then caused that exhaust timing to jump, and then maybe the low on oil might have clogged that solenoid. Maybe some debris got in it. So I just wanted to go over everything here again. I put my borescope here. Oh, there's a bracket on the other side of the exhaust on the trans for your TDC pin, which I don't have the timing tools right now. So I just got as close as I could, and there's the pin hole. So there's where the tool would go in, confirming it's at the right rotation, along with the part numbers are right here and right here, which they're straight up and down. And if you look, there's 3 flat spots on each cam for the tools to slide right over top. So it doesn't look like there is no timing problem. But what I did is you're supposed to check with the wrench to see if you can rock these cams at all. Make sure the Vanos gear is locked. When I first checked it, this gear was pointing this way because the gear wasn't locked, which is kind of normal. You need to make sure you unplug. Well, you can just lock it by hand, but if you want to confirm it's not moving, I ended up unplugging intake and exhaust solenoid, and I cranked the engine over like this just to pump the oil through and make sure it wasn't a stuck solenoid or anything. Because originally with it plugged in, if you turned it over, this gear would become unlocked again. So that is normal. So I'm going to now pull both solenoids and bench test them and see if anything shows up with that test. Alright, we got the Vanos solenoids out. Got our exhaust one here. You can see, I don't know if it's going to pick it up, there's some debris on that one, exhaust one. They are slightly different, so I assume they are original. And this intake side, which we had a not controllable fault, you see it's a little different. Doesn't have the 3 screens, but it's completely clogged. That I peeled off of the screen there. So I'm just gonna run a quick ohm check and then bench test, and then we're gonna see what we can do to clean them and see if we can make them work. Okay, so we got eight ohms, 7.5 on that one. And we got 7.1.2. So they seem comparable. That doesn't seem to be an issue. So I'm gonna grab my power probe just to see if I can check the actuation of them. So I got the solenoids cleaned up with brake clean and a blowgun, and to try to just kind of rule out any other issues, I wanted to soak them in ATF to help clean them. You see there's a little bit in that mesh still on this one. Some of these are just air bubbles. But then I did power and ground them and click it a whole bunch of times while I was in the fluid to help push the pistons and maybe knock out anything else that was in there. They seem alright. Might try to clean it once more before I try to put them back in the car. And I might put them in the reverse spot and then check the oil filter. Didn't look awful, but I don't like to use any aftermarket filters, so I'm going to put a cheap one in there and try to run it for a few minutes, see if I can get it to operating temp. And I do have some ATF in the oil to maybe help clean some of the passages or any of the sludge that might be in there. And then I have a genuine filter, and I'll put some 540 in it and see if we can't get these Vanos faults to stay away and see how she runs. So I put about 30 miles on this car now. It was running great. I beat on it. All the boost was working fine. When I originally started, I had an issue with this crankcase valve. So you couldn't even loosen the oil cap, and it was whistling, so the crankcase pressure was messed up. But I only did that on the first start after I had everything apart. But it still does look, we got some leaking going on around there. Like this valve cover is bad and does need replaced. So that's on the list. I drove it with the original oil in, but I did put a fresh, cheap oil filter in it after I inspected the other one to make sure it didn't come apart. And then I did have some ATF in the oil to help clean everything a little bit. And everything was going good until I was doing about highway speeds, light throttle, and I had a yellow malfunction light come on for boost plausibility, which it could be because of that valve cover there, or dirty sensors possibly, or probably a bad turbo as well. So I brought it back to change the oil, get fresh oil in it. When I went to move this reservoir here to do the oil change, of course it broke. That little nipple down there. Pretty common. So I got that hose, about 60 bucks. We took a look at the oil filter I had in it for those 30 miles. And it looks black already, but doesn't really look like there was any metal or anything in there. As well as when I changed the oil, I took a real good look at it with the flashlight as it was draining. Other than it being dark and black, didn't seem to be an issue at this time. So we're going to get this hose replaced. Finished the oil change, and I'm gonna put some of this in there, quality oil, and then put some more miles on it. And then we're gonna see if there are any more engine lights that come back, and then probably clean this thing up and see about selling it. I got the oil change and the coolant hose fixed up, working on bleeding the coolant. You can see now I have the valve cover problem. Came back, you hear the whistle? How bad it's running? So much suction. So we're gonna have to replace that. Attempt. Since whoever had already cracked this, I couldn't get this to actually seal right, and I tried with the epoxy to get the tabs on, and it didn't really work. So I do need a complete cover to solve all that, which is how Mini recommends to do it anyway. But I might suggest just going to FCP Euro if you are keeping. So about finished with this car here. Getting picked up today. Got it quickly washed, and we gave it a nice vacuum inside. So you can see fires right up. Put some gas in it, everything looks good. Rev's good. We have no faults in the entire vehicle. So this costs I'm not sure if it was just lack of technician knowledge or what really happened at the dealership. The guy was quoted like $8,000 for a motor. We didn't have any issues there. It just looked like all that debris in the solenoids. So I guess did all this, I guess, just so people need to know, if you don't fully trust who's working on your car and everything, that you should always get a second opinion, or have a price range to where you decide that you will get a second opinion, just so you don't have to pay a diagnosis fee more than once. But thanks for joining me. Any questions? Let me know in the comments.